come a little bit closer. Just come all the way over here. Hey, obviously you guys have. Hey, buddy. Hey, obviously, thanks to all you guys for coaching, the respected age groups of the NBA Titans. Definitely appreciate that. The one thing I'm going to tell you, and certainly I don't want to, get up here on my soapbox and talk to you about how to coach, but I think you've heard the Yogi Berra line that baseball's 90% mental and the other half's physical. So the one thing I'm going to tell you is that certainly you guys want the same thing we want. We want to win games, and certainly we want to put our guys, our players in the best positions. One of the things that I found out that coaching over the years is that when I put a kid in a bad situation or yell at them or make them really uncomfortable where they can't perform what they want to do, the chances of all these drills that we work really hard on, they kind of go out the door because they're so busy worried about coach yelling at them, swinging at a bad pitch, or they got a 2-0 count and they swing at a curveball and coach is yelling at them from the third base coach's box. That's just the one thing that I'd probably share with you. One of my pet peeves is when I go and watch other teams play or youth baseball and I see coaches or dads or whoever, kind of yelling at kids because they took a bad swing. Well, you get 3 cuts at it. Sometimes you're going to make a bad swing and not make the best choice. So that would be the one thing is try to put your guys in the best position and make sure that you use those times of practice to do all the coaching. So thanks to Mason Burnley for being here today. Basically, here's the things that Mason's been working on and that we do at the high school level that we've been doing ever since Coach Colson took over. This will be his 5th year and my 5th year as well.
Can I give him a little props though too? If you teach younger kids, man, how many times do you come in here a week?
Probably 4 or 5.
4 or 5. I mean, and it's in the off season. He works his butt off, and to get where he's been. And I was really happy, proud of him. Hope he has a great season this year. But that's what Norris baseball people do. They work out all the time. Sorry, go ahead.
Yes. Everybody's swing, just like people, everybody's swing is kind of like a snowflake. They're all going to be a little bit different. But at the same standpoint, we want to always try to start with the same, fundamental standpoint, be in the same spot. We want to be athletic. And you can take a look at Mason right here. One of the things that we do teach all of our guys is we want the tip of home plate to kind of intersect the midsection right through the belly button. And so all of our guys start out in the exact same spot. The other thing is, I'm sure a lot of your guys all play multiple sports, football, basketball, baseball, whatever else they play. We want to try to get them into as an athletic position as possible. And you take a look at Mason right now, his feet are just a little more than shoulder width apart. He's pretty athletic. He's going to get his weight balanced and pretty centered. That way, when it's time to go hit the baseball, he's athletic. So the one thing, I'm just going to put some tape down there just to illustrate. Let's pick that foot up. So basically, he's going to start with his back foot right there on that piece of tape. Put your right foot right there. He's going to put his right foot right there on that piece of tape. And I don't want your guys to become, robots trying to always kind of follow tape or follow drills. They want to swing loosely, but I just want to kind of show you how Mason ends up. And then typically Mason's going to stride about 1 inch to 2 inches once he gets his swing going. So that's kind of one of the first spots that we start with is, is he athletic? Is he getting himself kind of squared up on home plate? Does he got a good base? And then the other thing that's really going to be important for us is how does he hold the bat? Now Mason's a guy, that's fine. Mason's a guy, go ahead and do it. Mason's a guy when he first started playing for us when he was a freshman, he likes to have, what do they call it, door lining knuckles, where his knuckles are always lined up and he likes to point his fingers up. And the one thing about Mason is he has the bat up in his fingers, okay? He's going to have more strength up there in his fingers. He's going to be a little bit looser. He can get his hands, a little more whip with his wrists. But, all good hitters have that baseball bat kind of up in their fingers.
It's knuckle, small knuckle, and it's like, this is a big thing that young kids do wrong. I just tell you, they hold the bat like this instead of knuckle. This small knuckle, about right here is where you should be. A lot of young kids hold it like this, and as you can see, you can say, well, that's not that big, but then you're swinging like this, and you're not getting any whip in your bat, and this is like a whip. So small knuckle, I'm just going to interject with what I see young kids do wrong. That's one thing, they hold it like a telephone post, man, and then they try to swing it like a telephone post.
Mason's a guy, he likes to have his fingers always point. That's how he checks it. We've had other guys, I'll use Jackson Reeds for an example. When he does it, he's right here, but he's still up in his fingers, okay? But his fingers kind of point that way. You know, I'm not going to tell you that there's a perfect way, a right way, or a wrong way. I think the main thing is the bat's got to be held fairly firm, but yet loosely, and you've got to be able to have it up in your fingers so you can let it whip, just like Coach Colson talked about. So that's first and foremost. So Mason, he's got his setup. He's athletic. He's got the tip of the plate intersecting his belly button. Just for the sake of just for a few swings before we go into drills, the one thing that I think is really important, and I know that Coach Rafferty with our Legion would stress this as well, we want to make sure that as we swing, we get off this back side. All right, and the only way I know how to get off the back side is, you know, it starts with that load. You know, you have some guys that they want to kind of twist their whole body and they want to lean back. You know, for me, what I was always taught was be athletic, let the hands kind of load everything, and basically, get ready, Mason. As Mason goes and loads his hands, we've kind of always imagined, go to load, an imaginary string from right here to that knee right there. So as those hands go back, the knee goes, okay? Then as that knee starts going forward, then everything else follows forward with it, okay? And I'll show you some drills, how to do all that stuff, but those are the most important things, I think. Be athletic, hand in the back correctly, all right? And then as we start going, as we load those hands, okay, our front leg goes with it, and then as we start striding, everything kind of goes from there, and we get off the back side for that power.
And I know Andy does lessons, and I do a ton of lessons as well. But this is simple thing. Kids think power comes from where? They think it comes from their lift, or they think it comes from anything else, but it doesn't. It comes all from the back side. And the way Andy actually presented this to me when I first started to come up here coaching, we had similar, but he compared it to punching, to like a fight, right? So he's going to punch me. No, just stay that way, yeah. He's going to punch me, and it's going to come through me, right? And everything's going to come. Now, if he punches me underneath or comes over here, haymaker, I'm going to get on him and I'm going to bite his ear off. You know what I'm saying? He's going to have to punch you hard to go through it. And watch his backside. That's where all the power's coming from, right there. And then he actually extends this out when he hits the baseball. Okay, but a lot of younger kids, they'll think this big old leg kick or this big stride. And I had an opportunity to coach a lot of good baseball players, and none of them do that business, you know. And that short step he's talking about, exactly what you want to be in. Kids shouldn't be taking more than a 4 to 6 inch step, and they should not have any big high leg lift. Sorry.
Hey, Coach, can I ask one more question?
Yes.
But, you know, when you get in a game situation, I know you've done this before, but I don't know about the young guys. Say that the pitcher's a slinger, throwing me breaking balls. Do you preach maybe to get up on that, you know? This is our basic stance, but do you preach on maybe get a little bit forward in the box?
The one thing that Coach Rafferty, you know, is kind of alluding to, at the end of the day, you know, we certainly want to have a really good fundamental swing, but at the end of the day, we want to be competitors, right? And we're trying to put ourselves into games to win. Certainly, we'd like to have enough discipline and have enough game practice repetitions that we can make adjustments through the course of the game, that we can set back on a pitch and wait, and then drive it over to right center field. But the reality is sometimes we've got to make bigger modifications. Traditionally, we don't move up in the box. We would prefer that, hey, our guys be able to set back and wait and make those adjustments on their own during the game. If we start shifting things around, you know, it's probably not going to put us in the best overall position. But I'll tell you, back when I coached select baseball, hey, if I had a kid that was just really throwing good off-speed stuff and it just kept dropping off in front of the plate, I'd tell all my guys to get up in front of the box. One of our best hitters ever to come through Norris, Chris Vielander, it was 4 or 5 years ago. Vielander, he was a guy, I'm coaching this, intersecting the back of the plate, and he just believed that he had a better chance of being out front to take away every off-speed pitch. But, you know, I will tell you, if you get in the 4th or 5th or 6th inning and, you know what, you just can't make any adjustments on your own and you got to shift them up in the box, so be it. We've done that at the high school level before, but I'd like to see the guys try to have a little bit of self-discipline and make that change on their own. But good question. Going back to what Coach Colson said on the punch, in fact, I just did this with my 8th grader this morning in our kitchen. We were kind of going over his swing, and I said, hey, let's just go back to throwing that punch because he was really dragging his back leg. And I said, hey, we've got to fire. It's got to be a deal where that knee and that leg and that hip's driving like we're throwing a punch. So we just went to the mirror and we threw about 20 punches before we put the bat back in his hand, just working on that back side. So, anyway.
That's set up right here, right?
Yeah, let's get to the setup real quick. Here's a drill that we started doing about 5 years ago. We call it the Lizzie. Guy that used to play at Nebraska, Jeff Lizzie, I picked this up from him. Basically, all Mason's going to do is he's going to do about a half swing. He's going to load, boom, and he's going to get right there into a good power position. Then he's just going to finish kind of half speed. All right? And all he's doing is just kind of checking himself. Is he loading? Has he got a nice little 1 to 2 inch stride? Is his bat level at the point of impact? He's just checking those things. Let's do it again here. Yep, perfect. Perfect. One of the things that we start every varsity practice every single day doing this. Every guy's expected to go through and do this about 10, 15, 20 times. But every guy does this every single day.
Go ahead. This is actually Trey Hare, actually, told us, which he's going to be a hell of a teacher and coach too. Is this? I'm a checkpoint person. I like to make sure we have things checked on. If you look here, his elbow's going to be in front, and then this should be like a line straight down. Ear, shoulder, hip, and knee should all be aligned. That should all be checked. Okay, so if he's back here, he's off, or he's way out here, he's off. This should be straight down in alignment. So it's a good checkpoint to know. That's and we call this master hitting position or power position. Okay, when you get to this point, but it's good to check ear, shoulder, hip, and knee to make sure it's in a line. And your elbow's got to be in front.
Do it again. Pull right. Go back to the leg. And this is what I like about it. Look at it. His knees driving. He's got that about that 2 inch stride. Head's right on the baseball. That top hand, boom! He's fired it right there, almost like he's throwing a punch, a little kidney punch. Right there, everything's out in front. And then when he finishes, everything's out in front, nice level swing, right at the top of the shoulders. So we make our guys go through and do that, like I said, 10, 15, 20 times every single day. During the off-season hitting, then we start going into full swings, but I know that Coach Hare likes to do a lot of drills, just so those guys can get a little bit of repetition. So that's it right there. Okay, so that's basically the swing. So I'm gonna let you take a full swing here real quick.
Oh, no, this one here, but-
Actually, move that up a little bit. Make contact.
And we're trying to lift everything up the middle here in this drill too, by the way.
And this
Everything up the
is,
middle.
I just like checkpoint, but it's like this is a setup. Go ahead, set up, and then Andy talked about it too. Is step and load, man, and that is where we get ourselves going. And the third one is his hitting position. One thing I want you to notice though is this. I'm talking about things I see wrong. I see he used to do it, double stepper, double tapper.
Yep.
And then he would pivot, and this is all drive hitting. This is not rotate. I mean, this is like we're driving, we're going forward. And watch what his front foot does. It opens up a little bit to let his backside come with him. All right? His front foot doesn't step and then pivot. His front foot opens a little bit to a 45, and then that lets that backside come through. All right?
But everything's up the middle.
Yep.
Everything's up the middle, perfect. So we'll start practice off with about 15 of those. I'm going to come back and show you guys some drills here in just a minute. The next big one that we do, we'll just graduate to some front toss.
Oh boy.
So we'll go straight to front toss next. And it's kind of the same thing. After we do the half speed, the Lizzie drill, then we'll go to full swings off the tee. Everything's up the middle, always up the middle.
Hey, give me an example quickly what I need to do. Another thing too that I picked this up from Trey and actually Terrell. The way they describe the punch is this elbow is replacing this elbow when you go to swing. That makes sense? So this one is just